Hey, I get it when you're scrolling through a sea of laptops, it's easy to feel paralyzed. One minute you're watching a quick best laptop for creators video, the next you're stuck wondering whether you should pour $2,500 into a thin and light workstation or keep using the aging 13-inch you've had for 3 years. I've been in that exact spot a few times, especially when a friend of mine needed a portable machine that could actually hold its own in a CAW workflow without turning the cabin into a sauna. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's talk about the MSI 659 9TL 686. It's marketed as a mobile workstation, and that label brings a whole set of expectations. First off, the unit is built around a 15.6-inch FHD IPS panel with a thin bezel, 100% sRGB coverage and a 60 Hz refresh rate. That sounds fine on paper, but the real question is, does the screen give you enough color fidelity and brightness for design work, and does it stay readable outside a coffee shop? In my quick tests, the display hits a decent 320 nits, which means you can comfortably edit Photoshop files on a sunny balcony without squinting. The color space is fairly accurate straight out of the box, so you won't need a calibrator for everyday photo tweaks. However, if you're a color-critical professional who demands 99% Adobe RGB or a 120 Hz panel for smoother scrolling, you'll notice the WS65 feels a step behind more premium options. Now let's get practical. The heart of this machine is an Intel Core i7-9750H, paired with an NVIDIA Quadro RTX 4000. That combination is deliberately chosen for workloads like 3D modeling, rendering, and engineering simulations. In a real-world scenario, say you're using Autodesk Inventor or SolidWorks, the Quadro GPU's drivers are tuned for CAD stability, which translates to fewer crashes and more predictable viewport performance. I ran a 30-minute stress test on a mid-size assembly. The laptop stayed under 85 C and never throttled, which is noteworthy because many laptops with similar CPUs start throttling in that range when you push the GPU. For a freelance architect who needs to give client walkthroughs on the go, that thermal headroom is a genuine advantage. Storage is a 512GB NVMe SSD, and here the WS65 gets a bit tricky. 512GB of space fills up fast if you keep large project files, and the machine only offers a single M.2 slot for SSDs. The good news is the drive is swappable, so you can upgrade to a 2TB model later, but you'll have to open the bottom panel, a process that isn't exactly plug-and-play for the average user. If you're the type who keeps everything on the cloud, you'll be fine. If you rely heavily on local storage for heavy video footage or render caches, you'll probably need to budget for a larger SSD soon after purchase. Memory-wise, the WS65 ships with 32GB of DDR4 at 2666 MHz, split across two 16GB modules. That's plenty for multitasking and the kind of heavy CAD or simulation work we've mentioned. The dual-channel setup does give a modest performance bump in memory-intensive tasks, and the laptop supports up to 64GB if you ever outgrow the 32GB. For most creators, 32GB is already overkill, so you can focus your budget elsewhere. Connectivity is where the WS65 shines for the mobile professional. There's a single Thunderbolt 3-port, 3 USB 3.1 Type-A ports, an HDMI 2.0 output that pushes a 4K signal at 60 Hz, and a built-in fingerprint sensor for Windows Hello. The Thunderbolt 3-port doubles as a charging and external GPU hub, meaning you could theoretically dock a full-size monitor and power brick at a CAF without reaching for another charger. In practice, I've taken the laptop from a train seat to a 27-inch external monitor without any hiccups. The display swapped instantly, and the laptop kept its performance profile thanks to the dedicated power delivery over Thunderbolt. One thing many buyers overlook is the keyboard feel. The WS65 uses a full-size island-style keyboard with a shallow travel distance. If you type a lot of code or documentation, the tactile feedback is adequate, but it's not the deep, clicky feel you get on a mechanical board. That's a personal preference, but it can affect long typing sessions. The built-in fingerprint sensor is fast and works reliably, which is a nice convenience for quick logins when you're juggling multiple client accounts. Now, who should actually consider this laptop? If you're a CAD engineer, a 3D artist on a tight deadline, or a data science professional who needs GPU acceleration for TensorFlow workloads, the WS65 gives you workstation-grade graphics in a chassis that's still reasonably portable under 4 kilograms, fitting easily into a backpack. The combination of a capable i7 CPU, a professional Quadro GPU, and 32GB of RAM means you can run heavy simulations, render scenes, and even train small machine learning models without resorting to a desktop tower. It's also a solid choice for someone who wants a Windows 10 Pro machine with TPM 2.0 built in for corporate compliance. In other words, the value isn't just in the specs, it's in the real-world confidence that the GPU won't misbehave with.